Everybody, welcome to another episode of When Nerds Do Fitness. Joined with me, a very, very special geek, very, very special guest. Really, I've invited him on for very selfish reasons, to be fair, because I want to learn loads from him, and no doubt you guys will as well. I just want to pick your brains. Darren Nally, the founder, owner, runner of FitX.
Kind of, yeah.
Or FitXpo, or FitXpo, mate. I'm confused. Which is what? What's what? That's the comp side of it, and then that's the expo.
Yeah. It was never the intention to have the both, but the original thing was FitXpo, and we'll geekily talk about why the X is the X and all that stuff because no one knows that. But,
that's wicked, nice.
We'll do all that, but yeah, and then FitX came about, and then there's other stuff in the pipeline, which is all very on brand as well. So. Yeah, that's it. I am just a normal dude who was a massive fan of bodybuilding. Ultimately, I've done other bits. Well, I've done lots of different things over the many years because I'm old now. But ultimately, my passion has always lay with bodybuilding predominantly. And I had this dream and this idea about feels like 3 years ago now, probably 4 years now with Rona. And yeah, it is what it is now, and we're getting there. I think we're still the underdog. We are the underdog, but everyone likes an underdog. But yeah, I think we're gathering momentum and we'll continue to do so. And we've done our first one and we're planning now for year 2, of which tickets going to sell tomorrow.
I know, I saw that. And I was like, what well-timed this is. What such timing. Like I've got so many questions for you. I just want to pick your brains. So I know you said you're the underdog, but genuinely, I've been to now 3 Expo, only 3, and only of 3 occasions, so not each one multiple times. So I've only been to the 3, and I have to say I've been to the Arnold one, and I've been to the Body Power one, and I've been to yours, and I had a far better experience personally at yours out of all the other 2.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, look, when I started this, the only expo in the UK was Body Power. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of the problem. So that was the only thing you knew. And I loved it. And I will still stand here and say I love it. I'm not that guy who knocks it together on stuff. Oh, my internet connection's unstable.
I think it's a little bit crackly, your internet, mate.
Oh, sorry, mate.
That's all right.
It's literally if you're seeing my picture, if it's as bad as what I'm seeing.
Do you know what's happening? Your kids are playing Fortnite. They're downloading all the extra packs. That's what's going on, mate.
Never this. It looks horrendous.
It's all right.
Oh dear. Oh well. So yeah, the only thing kind of I had to know to compare it with was Body Power. And if we kind of go back to the beginning and how this started, I was a fan. Ultimately, I was a fan. I'd competed a few times. Wasn't very good, but I had a crack at it. I've done multiple other bits and pieces as well, throw my hands at different sports, very late developer in that world. And then, yeah, I kind of ended up falling into running around all the athletes at Body Power, which I absolutely love. So for a bodybuilding fan, to be driving around Phil Heath, Dallas McCarver, God rest his soul, Brian Shaw, Dana and Rob Bailey, all these amazing people, literally picking them up from what started on a Friday and then it started becoming a Wednesday and a Thursday and a Tuesday and a Monday. Oh, I remember taking them the week off work and not telling my missus because she'd be like, you can't take a full week to be doing this. And I was literally driving over to the gym, getting my stuff ready and then going to pick up Kai for cardio, then going over to
Kai Green
an airport to pick up another star. Yeah. So I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And over this time, I remember, if I go back to the very first one I picked up was Sadiq. So I don't know if you know Sadiq, really cool guy, was with GAT at the time. And they gave us these 2 blacked out VW transporters and brand new. And they were automatic. I was like, shit, I've never driven an automatic before. And there I am. Oh, hi, Sadiq. And I'm like a proper little fanboy. Because I am a massive fan of bodybuilding. I'm rubbish for football and stuff, but bodybuilding, I know all the names and all the results. That's my thing.
Yeah.
And he's got in the back, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't drive an automatic. And I remember driving into Birmingham, and I stalled it on a hill, and he literally flew from the back seat to those face to face. And I was like, to the point where the GAP manager got out and said, "Move on, bro, I'll drive." And I was so embarrassed. So he said, I suggest you drive around for a little bit and get used to an oil. And I loved it. And yeah, Kai, I remember being in Boots with Kai to get some magic, what he calls magic shave, which is basically Nair or Veet.
Yeah.
And he can't use razors. And we're in Boots. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing? And I'm standing there with Kai, and he was in his prime. We're going back now, 213, 214. And everyone's looking at him, and I'm just standing there like, I'm proper fanboy, and I've got like one of my heroes next to me. And it was just like, what am I doing? But over this time, I developed this relationship with these people and some of the brands. And I kind of pitched the idea of, if there was something else, would you do it? Would you be up for this? And because they all used to moan about the way they were treated and the costings and all that stuff that goes on in the background that no one else sees. And I genuinely thought I could do something, a one haul, one day thing, nothing to the size that I've thought it's got to now. I always dreamed that it would get bigger, of course, but ultimately, could I put something on where we could have a bodybuilding show, CrossFit, strongman, a stage, but really keep it really authentic, how it used to be? Because again, without knocking them, they went from this bodybuilding fest to quite mainstream. And I think the turning point for me was queuing up for Kevin Levrone and queuing up for multiple stars like that. And the queues were bigger for Vicky from Geordie Shore and Callum Best.
Yeah.
And I thought, this isn't right, is it?
I can see that, yeah.
And look, no disrespect to any of them guys. And yes, they put the bums on seats. Of course they do. But for me, it was like so many of my old friends left and stopped going to that expo. And the reason was because, it's not bodybuilding anymore. There's no bodybuilders there anymore. And I remember back in the beginning, like the Animal Lads, Jose Raymond, like Phil, Jay, Kai, literally everyone was there. And then it slowly dropped off. And you know, I get it, it's business and stuff like that. But I just thought, could I put up something? But I didn't have the balls and I didn't have the money. So it's an idea I mulled over for a very long time. And then things went on and kind of, I just said, sod it, let's do something. And I had a few people saying, yeah, I'll invest a couple of quid. I'll invest a couple of quid. And because I had these relationships as well with some of these brands from, you know, just my knowledge and my kind of hanging around these shows, they were like, yeah. And the first one was CMP. And I remember driving up to CMP, like proper cap in hand, like, will you please have a stand off me? And they were like, they looked at each other and went, no, we want to sponsor this. Like, this is really cool. I was like, oh shit, like this is amazing. And then Strom jumped on board straight after that. And Strom's been amazing. And he's now business partner with us as well. And that then led to Suck Needs and HR Labs and Insight. And all these people jumped in. And at that point, you know, I'd been working with, we'll get political now, but I won't go too deep into it. But there was a federation that I worked backstage with for multiple years. And that's
we've had a telephone conversation about this. Yeah, you've told me. Yeah.
So I'm not going to go in on anyone because that's not the time and the place. I learned a lot with them. I had great times with them, and I thought that federation would come on board with us, but they didn't want to, and that's fine. Then there was another federation who wanted to come on board, but that didn't work out for whatever reasons. We won't talk about them either. And I just thought, oh, fuck it, what should we do? And, you know, this is just me emailing people blindly, like, you know, I'm little Darren, I've got no followers, and, you know, who's this guy? And luckily, a few brands remembered me, and obviously the athletes remembered me from me looking after them and stuff. And so we started to build this thing. And it's always easier if you've got the foot in the door with certain brands, because, you know, Strom are in with Suck Needs, you know, they're in with Cardiff Sports, and everyone kind of knows each other. And yeah, because no Fed wanted to come on board, we said, well, let's just do our show then. So we'll do an independent show, not aligned with anyone, and we'll just call it the Strom Classic. And the USP on it was that you'll win full sponsorship with Strom, and that, you know, they really do look after their guys. And then I threw in that they would fly abroad to compete in the Fuad Abiad show, bodybuilder that was coming across last year, but COVID wrecked that. And that was the plan. And then we had to change that again because IFBB politics. So we couldn't be aligned with the IFBB show because Fuad was an IFBB star and all that. So we just said, fuck it, we'll do our own and we'll do it as a holiday. So we did a holiday. And then the more and more it kind of gathered momentum, the more and more people said to me, you were good at running the shows. Like, I remember you from the shows. And you know what? I loved running shows. I loved it. But I was always the guy in the background. But I always had some ideas, but I never really was allowed to use those ideas. So I rang Rick and I said, I think we're going to do 7 shows. And he said, are you sure? And I went, yeah. And he trusted me. Bless his soul, he trusted me. So again, the USP was with each show, there would be a brand assigned, and we got offers off lots of brands, bless them. But, I wanted some solid brands. So, Cardiff Sports, Insight, Compact, they're all very, very good brands who really do look after their athletes. So yeah, we've just finished the first season on that. Had our finals in Liverpool there in September. And I think we did all right. We've gathered momentum. And you know what? Ultimately, all I am is a fan of bodybuilding, and all I care about is the athlete. And I know that sounds cringe and cheesy, but genuinely, when I started with that federation, that was how it was. If you wanted a coach backstage, bring a coach backstage. If you want your missus backstage, bring her backstage. We looked after people. And what I've made sure we do with FedEx is there's no knobheads. There are no knobheads involved. The judges are all fair. Mike and Lisa came on board. They're my head judges. Mike and Lisa actually started with that federation as well.
Oh, okay.
They wrote the criteria. They were the original. Yeah. Mike and Lisa are massively respected. They've judged.
Am I right in saying they're Welsh? They live in Wales? Yeah. That's it.
Going to see them this week, actually. So Mike and Lisa Gelsey are phenomenal. They are bodybuilding through and through. If you get a chance to just go over to them and have a session, please do. Yeah. Because they're always booked, and they're always booked because they're really good. But they've put me through a few sessions now, and they will just make you squeal and squirm. But genuinely, my physique is average at best. If I moved in with them for a month and they just beasted me every day and fed me, I'd be better than what I would be, but I'm never going to be good. But they would transform your physique because they're that good. They've coached multiple people, pros. They used to work at Body Power. They used to put a lot of pros through their put multiple sessions with those guys. They know all. They've been bodybuilding from day through. Like UKBFF back in the day, they were the ones that were, the ones who gave out the pro cards back in the day when it used to be the way it was. They've judged for everyone. And one thing I love about them, and the reason I wanted them, was they're so fair. Leisha is so fair. And what she doesn't know about bodybuilding is not worth it. And I got them involved. And then I kind of handpicked the other judges then. And again, I wanted people who I respected, but I wanted some young blood as well. Yeah. People who just love the sport. So Jazz from Compact, if you're buying shoes to compete in any of the female categories, you're buying them from Jazz. Yeah. And then she's married to Joe from the Physique Collective. So they've got a good understanding, but she'd never judged before, but she'd competed multiple times, but she loved the sport and she's got as much passion as me. So I was like, would you like to judge? And she's like, oh, fuck yeah. And then suddenly she's in that world and she's learned loads. People like Nathan Stiles, people like Josh Maley, Mr. Universe, obviously, Emma Hyman, and then more old school guys like Paul Scarborough and my old prep coach, Rich, who have competed multiple times and got lots of respect in the industry as well. So I got this panel of judges, and what's cool is we're always taking people on, and we do these open seminars. We were actually due to do one this week, but we've had to move it. And we basically invite anyone to come on board. So for example, top of my head, Molly, who won the Compact show, she's now one of the judges, because she just wanted to be part of it. So what we do, we let you shadow judge, we watch your scores, we teach you how to judge. Because it's quite interesting. I actually did a bit of research. I listened to one of your podcasts last night. I thought, shit, I better get myself ready and listen to a couple. I don't know what I'm doing. And it was quite interesting to listen to you talking to, I think it was Sammy, about the classic dude, about judging and stuff. Because, again, we've all competed and everyone's a judge and everyone knows better than everyone else. But it's quite interesting when you actually learn how to judge and what we actually look for, and all the misconceptions. Everyone assumes that, you mark down for this, and you don't start with 100 points and then you get marked down. It doesn't work like that. But it's quite interesting to come to one of our seminars, because we just say, come along, watch how we do it. We're open and honest about everything, and that's how Lisa is with her judges. So she lets everyone make the decisions. She'll question them and say, okay, why have you done that? Okay, that's fine then. And it's the only time I've ever been with a federation, Lisa said this, where people are actually asking to judge for us rather than us trying to find a judge.
That's a very good sign.
Oh, yeah. We started off with a panel of about 9, because what I didn't want to do is, again, without knocking that federation, if you've got a small panel, you're putting a lot on everyone to move around the country every weekend. And it's a thankless job, sorry. But what we've done is we've created a bit of a bigger panel, but literally everyone wants to join us, which is fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, we're open about that. We let people jump on board. There's other people. Our classic champion this year, he wants to join now, so he's going to come down. And we've just said, look, come down then, come to the next seminar, see what you think of it. We'll let you in. If you're good, we'll let you in. And yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, that's the federation stuff. But back to the expo. Ultimately, we've done the first year, and it's an interactive celebration of strength, fitness, and well-being. So we've got this year England's strongest man, England's strongest woman, double England's. No one's ever done that before, apart from us last year. We've got a log and deadlift comp. We've got another federation now this year on the Sunday, as well as us. So we're going to announce that next week. That'll be cool.
Cool, nice.
Yeah, and what we're going to do is we're going to tag on a little thing where compete with us on the Saturday, or compete with them on the Sunday. That's cool. Or pay this little bit extra and compete for both.
That's wicked. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you know what, though, Matt? When I first started this, my dream was, I wonder how cool it would be if NABA, PCA, Two Bros, everyone did a comp. And then on the Sunday, we saw who was the best of the best.
That's a great idea.
You can't do it, man. No one wants to do it. And that's the problem. No one wants to work together.
I wonder why that is the case. Is it because they just like, could you get this with not just individuals, as people? It's my land, it's my town, it's my city, it's my country, it's my mine. This is us. And segregation, it's constantly like that, isn't it? There are a few minority of us that want to integrate with other people, because I believe anyway, and how I've been brought up as a kid, moving through my career and life as an adult, I've learned to, invite people into my circle, the ones that I, respect and want to grow from, and they're going to grow from me, and you grow together rather than it's all just very singular.
Of course you do. And this is the point. Like, I genuinely, when I started this journey, thought people would be more like that. But I've noticed that they're really not. And it's such a shame. Whereas this federation we were going on board with, just lovely guys, really supportive of it. I've watched this year, and I'm very open with everyone, and you'll see this. Ask anyone that's competed with us, and we're very open. I will encourage you to compete next week with another Fed, irrespective of my opinion of that Fed, because if you are in shape, then bloody do it. Yeah. Gain as much experience as you can. Then jump in the one after. I never, ever would dream of saying, don't compete with them, don't compete with them. What the fuck kind of thing is that? That's ridiculous. That's like, I like beer, so I'm going to drink it with Witherspoons, but how dare I walk down the road and drink in that pub? Well, no. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So I will openly say that to everyone. Please compete with everyone. Get as much experience as you can. If you're in shape, just do it. Again, I was listening to you guys last night, and over the years, I've been in this a long time, and I've watched from this, I've been on stage, but I've watched people from afar, I've judged, I've done all of this stuff. And the more experience you get on that stage, the more fluid you look, the more natural you look. I remember one of my old training partners, and I've yet to see anyone like him who just has transitions like him, because it's just, everything moves in like clockwork, and you'll get that through experience. And also, ultimately, show day should be, after all the crap you go through, after all the horrible 5 a.m. start and the dreaming. I remember my last prep, and I was on the treadmill next to this massive dude, and he said, "Have you started crying yet?" I was like, "What? What are you on about?" He said, "Have you started crying yet?" I was like, "No." Literally 3 weeks later, there I was crying about just dreaming of chocolate brownies. I drove to Devon, actually, at the time. I remember my last prep. I drove to Devon, one of my favorite places, and I was dreaming of a scone. Scone. Yeah. And that's my thing. I love scones.
Hang on then. I've got a question for you, because down here, right? So I'm living in Devon. Yeah. Devon and Cornwall, they have like a little feud, don't they? You heard of this, haven't you? Yeah, we do. So is it your jam then your cream, or is it your cream then your jam?
Well, I'm going to get told off because I'll say the wrong one. What I like, which is probably the wrong one for you, because I go to Cornwall as well. I like the
I'm a Brummie, mate, so it doesn't matter to me.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I put the cream on first. Is that wrong?
No, that's what I do, because I always think the thicker one at the bottom, and then I'll layer that. Yeah. It's because we've got brains, mate. It's because people down here, they're a bit.
that makes sense. So yeah, like I remember driving down there, and just like I rang my coach, you can have one on Saturday night. I was like, okay, and I just gorged on these. Like I had a proper issue and made myself sick. I was an absolute mess, and then there I was sitting on this caravan floor crying, and I was 2 weeks out from a comp, and I was like, But anyway, the point is, you go through all this crap, but then on show day, it should be one of the most amazing days ever, especially if you win. Yeah. So why would you not want to replicate that next week and the week after whilst you're in shape? It's silly not to. So that's what I will always endorse. That's what I will always push people to compete multiple times with multiple feds. So yeah, we've got 2 shows at the weekend for that. We've got CrossFit. I'm making a much bigger presence this year. I found last year I didn't really tick that box enough. So we're going big on that this year, and that will help with some numbers. We've got MMA. had a little comp last year, but this year we're going for a big comp. So over the weekend, yeah, we've got 10 competitions, and then we've got multiple other things going on. And you said earlier about going to the other expos, and again, I'm not going to knock those expos. I went to the Arnold's, I enjoyed it. It was great to see people that I knew. It was great to see brands that supported us as well. But what I found was different was we are more of a community feel.
That's how I felt. So I'll say that now. That's how I felt. So when I went to the Arnold's, now there's a clue in the name. It's Arnold's Expo, right? I'm walking through, and there's nothing wrong with this because everyone's a fan of Arnold. I don't know anyone that doesn't really like the guy from his movies or his bodybuilding or his just persona or whatever it might be. But there's a huge statue of him there, and there's a big memorial of him there, and there's a Terminator guy there, and there's him there, and it's like, I think it could be all about you, mate. Yeah. I don't mind that because it's a different thing because he's a figure, he's a celebrity, and people want to go and take a picture in front of, his massive face on a poster. But that's how I felt with the FitX. It was a much tighter knit community feel experience where even if you didn't know anyone there specifically, you would no doubt see a face that you'd recognize over Instagram or something. Yeah. And even if that wasn't the case, because it was a smaller venue, so that might have given it away. It was just a lot more. People had more time to give to each person that came to a stall or
And we've had that feedback from the brands. And look, call a spade. Like, we are not anywhere the size of body. And again, where the honesty plays a part, which is massive. I say when I sell stands, because that's effectively what I'm doing at the minute, ready for next year. I don't bullshit or sugarcoat it. I say, look, if you want to be in front of 40, 50, 60,000 people, I can't give you that at the minute. I can't. However, I'm a lot cheaper. If you come with us, we'll support you. We'll shout about you. We'll do giveaways with you. We really do push as many of the brands as possible. But you will have a nice experience with us. And all the brands have said, like, you treated us really well. I remember making a WhatsApp group with all the traders, and I remember ringing the guy, the head of Monster. I was like, do I put you in here, or is this a bit weird? And he said, well, I've never been in one before for an expo, but he said, fuck it, put me in. So I put him in. And you had all these brands, like really big brands, down to like these people who are just buying their first stand at an expo, never done it before, all asking each other questions and all helping each other.
Yeah.
And it was so lovely to see all that interaction that last few weeks before the expo. And then when, like, the after party, you had like guys who own brands, big money guys. And then you had like the new guys, then you had ticket buyers. I still remember the names of the first people who bought the tickets. That's how sad I am. But the first ticket, incidentally, was bought in Ireland. The second one was bought in Iceland, would you believe? The third one was Aberdeen. And it's mad. Like, 'cause I always thought, it'd be Liverpool and a few extras. But no, it was people travel from all sorts. And then you had Terry Hollands over here getting pissed out of his head. You had, Insta celebs over here. It was just bizarre. And everyone's drinking. I remember drinking with Sass like 10 or 11 tequilas, and I can't drink. And I'm there with one of my bodybuilding idols, Sass, who I love him to bits. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? But they all said, like, fucking hell, this is brilliant. Like, we've done expos before, but this was cool. So we definitely did well in those areas. But then, me being me, knowing where I would have changed things and the stuff that you guys wouldn't have saw, the bits that I was mad with that I could have been better at. So I'm trying to rectify all that for next year, make it bigger, better, but still keep that feel. And, the community thing is absolutely right. It was so humbling. You probably, if you did see me over that weekend, you probably saw me cry 2 or 3 times because I am a soppy side. But there was a couple of people who came up to me and said, like, thank you for this. Like, I've needed this. I remember Chris, one of the powerlifting guys, came up to me and he said, like, I've been lost, mate, for a year and a half. I've been lost. And this was my thing to look forward to. Another lady come up to me and I didn't even, she said, oh, I'm Deborah. I said, oh, well, hi, Deborah. And she's like, do you remember me? And I said, oh, I'm trying to think. Fuck, I don't. And she went, you sent me out a goodie bag and a t-shirt about 6 months ago. And I was like, oh, okay. And basically, she'd come out of a coma. She'd been in a coma for a month. And I must have saw it in a story. She said that she was coming or whatever. We got chatting on it. And I said, oh, look, I can't do much, but have this as a get well soon type thing. And she remembered that and she saw me. And those things that at the time I didn't even think about, if I see someone's birthday, I'll send them out something or whatever. I just, but that's important to me because none of this is possible without you guys buying a ticket. None of this
Yeah.
is possible without the brands. None of this is possible without people getting on stage in their pants and giving it their heart and soul. So I'm nothing. I'm just a normal guy who wants to bring all this together. And that was really cool. And from a community aspect, we're doing one now on the 11th of December, which is in AW Fitness, which is where our first gym tour started. And this was how we kind of started building this. Because I said to Rick, I want to go around to 100 gyms. And he said, okay, why? And I was like, just because I think it'd be cool to go to a load of gyms, do some giveaways, do some little comps, get us known. And I remember that first one, and I couldn't give a can of rain away. All I wanted you to do was like my page, and there's a can of rain, and then come and do the bench press comp. And fast forward, Alex and Emily now have competed for us between them probably 6 times in multiple shows for us. They're ambassadors. They're just such a lovely couple. She was actually on this morning. I don't know if you ever saw that. She was being interviewed about being a bikini girl on
Oh
this
yeah,
morning.
that wasn't too long ago, was it?
No, not at all. No, that's Emily. She's lovely. They both train where Sasarati trains, and they're so nice. So we said, like, let's do something before Christmas. Then I've gone on social media, and I like a charity. I do love a charity, and I think because we've got this captive audience versus Brian, who works in a warehouse with another 2 fellas, we can potentially make more money for things. So, I tried to find a charity, and then that was it. Then I was gone because I saw a story of this hospice in Liverpool, and I rang them up and what can we do for you? And they were like, because I wanted to do, if you want to play, if you want to turn up, just buy a present for one of the kids and wrap it up, and that'd be that. And then there's no money involved. You just do what you got to do. But then they said, like, and this is where it got me, we can't give toys because of bloody COVID. And also these kids are so poorly that they can't even play with toys. I was thinking, oh God.
Man.
I was like, fuck, what can we do? What can we do for you? So yeah, so we're going to replicate what we did at Crayford Weights 2 years ago, where we're going to attempt a world record. But it is open for everyone. Brands, ambassadors, anyone listen to this, any ticket buyers, anyone at all. We did it at Crayford. It was probably our best community day we ever did.
I'm going there in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I would say. And ultimately, gone through the Guinness Book of Records, got all the timings and got the numbers. But we're not going to do it as a Guinness record because they want $8,500, because that's how much they charge to put you in the book.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. How much is it?
8.5.
£8,500. If I was to accomplish a Guinness World Record, it would cost me $8,500 to put it in.
If you want their marketing package, go on social media, get the proper thing all endorsed. So then the way you get around that and still do the record is you record it all, you time it all, you log it all, and it's still class a world record. It's just not a Guinness World Record.
Got you.
But luckily, one of the guys that's with us, James, who did it last time, James has got multiple world records, and his partner is that competitive eater. She's actually got 2 pages in the Guinness Book of Records. She could do like 4 Domino's pizzas in less than a minute. She's phenomenal.
I think I could keep up, to be fair. I'm starving.
She is phenomenal. Yeah, she's done it with Eddie Hall and all these people. But anyway, yeah, so we're going to do that on the 11th of December. But why are we doing that? We're doing that, A, to raise some money for charity, B, promote ourselves, of course, with the tickets before Christmas. But then, more importantly, we're getting together. We're getting together as a gang and lifting between us. There'll be some giveaways and bits and pieces, but it's a time to get together before then next year starts and the season starts, because people do live for these things. People love competing. Then they go, oh shit, what do I do now? And then they don't have a season until next year. People love expos, but now there isn't one again until Body Power will be the next one. So it just keeps that alive.
That my biggest question, and I think a lot of the listeners are going to want to hear this, and you can go as in depth as you can or want to. How? This is what I want to know. This is the biggest thing. Where the F do you even see you go, oh, I know, I want to make an expo, which I want to open up a gym. I want a private jet. I want to go on an African safari. Where do you even start? So I know from a safari, I'll save. From a jet, I'll save. What do you do with it? What do you do with an expo? How the fuck do you, what's step number 1?
So step number 1 was, I just thought about it a lot. And I'm a normal guy, mate. I'm a very normal guy. I've worked in sales for years. That's kind of my thing. But ultimately, I fucking love bodybuilding. I love it. And, I love the shows. I'm a fanboy. I remember the first Body Power queuing up. I must have queued up for 4 hours for Jay Cutler, for him then to go and have his chicken and bloody rice. So I waited for another hour. I then waited again for him to come back. So I was halfway down the queue. Kai Green, all these people. Like I've I've been to multiple shows, I've met these stars. So I knew kind of as a fan what I would want to see.
But yeah, so you had your why and your want first, didn't you?
Yeah. And because like the old gang I would have went to Body Power with, and training in a gym in Birmingham at the time, and seeing these people fall away from that, oh, I'm not going that anymore. I'm not going that anymore. Me also seeing that I used to love a freebie. So I remember back in Body Power days, it was like you walk out there with fuck tons of stuff.
Yeah.
And people forget about that. Like the Arnolds, I walked away with nothing. Like, not that I want anything.
No,
anyway,
this is what I noticed, mate.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to nuts, so I'm like, oh great, that's half of all the snacks gone for me, right? All the goodies. To go get my goodie bag at the start of the expo, I'm eagerly awaiting. Oh, am I going to get like a magazine, a little medal, or what am I going to get? Right, a little miniature of Arnold. I get up, I've got a protein bar with peanuts in it. I'm like, so I've got nothing here, and I paid for the golden ticket or the VIP one, and I'm like, I've got fuck all here.
Yeah.
But that's what I noticed with you guys is I walked out with easy 4 bags, easy 4 carrier bags full.
So I suppose my starting point was I never thought it would be 2 halls. I never thought it'd be 2 days or any of that stuff. Ultimately, it was right. Where could I do something? Where could I, how many brands would I need? And I remember I actually was speaking the other day, like we were talking about what we want it to look like this year. And I quite like the idea of when you queue up a load of graphic boards, like starting with the logo and why we designed the logo right the way through to the original floor plan, where there's 30 stands. And then as it evolves along the way to where it is and then where we want it to go. But ultimately I thought 30 stands. I knew I had I've still got it on my phone, the list of the brands I would love, but I'll probably never get. The brands I definitely will get, because I know I speak to them quite a lot and I know I'll get I'll get them to come on board. And, the brands in the future where I'd absolutely want to get, but there's no way in the world. And so I suppose I know I needed 30 brands. I know I needed at least 2 big names. So I kind of was scouring for the names. I knew I wanted to have lots of interactive things because I felt, again, at the Arnold, there wasn't much going on other than you can go to the brands, you can watch the show, the bodybuilding, of course, or you can watch someone on stage getting interviewed about themselves. But ultimately, you couldn't do a squat demo. You couldn't do a log demo. You couldn't do a stones demo. You couldn't engage in a conversation about steroids because, oh my God, we can't talk about that. Well, actually, you can, because let's talk about it and let's be safe about it. And that's what we did. Because, sometimes you've got to pick up the rock and look at the wiggler worms underneath and just talk about that stuff. And if that helps people, then that's what I wanted to do. So it was always going to be an interactive celebration of fitness. And I genuinely thought 1 hall. So I kind of looked at venues that were not in Birmingham because I thought, right, I don't want to piss on Body Power's toes and I don't want to put it anywhere near Body Power in the calendar either. So we picked September and we picked Liverpool. And the reason I did that was I looked at multiple expo centres. I had no idea how much it would be. And I found Liverpool. I thought, I like this. I really like Liverpool and I like the city. I've been there many times. Good nightlife. Different to the NEC because there's loads going on site. And I thought, this will work. So, right, how much is that? Oh, okay, it's a lot of money. But if I could get that together for the deposit, and then by the time we get the stand deposits, that could maybe just about, no, not at all. I thought, the figure I had in my head was literally probably 5% of what we've actually had to put in.
Wow.
It's just gone crazy. And my fear was, and the reason people don't do it, because, they tried to do FitCon in London a few years ago and they had loads of names there. Like Ulysses was there, Jay was there, Simeon Panda was there. There was multiple bodybuilders from the US over there. But it just didn't work. And I was like, shit, well, if they can't make it work, how the hell am I going to make it work? And one of the things was probably because it was in London. So unless you're from London, it's a pain in the ass to get to London. There was all that kind of stuff that came into it. But at the time, because I was working with that federation, I thought a no-brainer that they'll come on board. So I thought, tick. I thought, I'll get a strongman comp. So at the time, I started talking to a guy in Liverpool, and he was willing to do a strongman comp. So that was like, tick. Right, who can I have on the stage? What kind of things would I want to learn on the stage? So I started to work on those people. And I just bombarded the shit out of brands with emails. But I tried to get to know I just tried to get to know who owned that brand. Some of them I was lucky that I knew them. Some of them people knew. But most people just went, nah.
So the things that are coming out to me that you're saying, people can mirror this in their own life, in their own training, if their own goals. So you've already said, so you said to yourself, okay, so I've got brands I most likely will never ever work with, but I'm going to whack them on the list. Look what you're doing. You're already, you're speaking this into existence by putting it onto pen and paper. It's in your mind. I'll put it there. So it's in front of me. Then you've got your manageable brands that you know, you can kind of touch and reach out to. And then you've got the ones that you most definitely will be able to. Also, what's screaming out to me is your relentless attitude. I'm going to continue. I'm just going to bombard them. And this is a quote that my mum actually told me when I was tiny. And I'll always remember this: the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Right. Okay.
So the ones that make the noise, the ones that you know, that want the attention, that will work for it, will get the attention back.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. So your relentless attitude towards these emails, these invitations, just go ba 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 ba, without, you know, being annoying, but just showing up. By you showing up, you're getting people and you're getting attention. You're getting that.
Definitely, yeah. And one thing I said to Eamon, who's my business partner, before Rick came on board, Eamon, I mean, no one really knows about Eamon because he's kind of silent, but Eamon and I were at college together in Ireland. Like, I lived in Ireland for years. That's where my mum and dad are from. And we both did graphic design. So we both knew how to make things look nice. Although I was rusty because I did it many years ago, but, you know, we both got a degree in that. We've separated away because I moved back over here, went traveling, came back here, all that nonsense. I ran into him weirdly at Body Power 10, 11 years ago. Back in the day, we didn't have mobile phones, because as crazy as that sounds now, you know,
did you use carrier pigeons back then?
We did.
Did you?
But then we just happened to bump into each other. I was like, oh, fuck, like, you know, what are you doing now? And it just happened that Eamon was doing real gen pop fitness stuff. So loads of kettlebell stuff, he actually does retreats and stuff. He's very zen. He calms me down a lot. He's very stoic, like with his thinking. And, you know, we just soundboard off each other, and we still do every day, probably voice note each other 3-4 times a day, every day, ring him probably every other day. What do you reckon of this? What do you reckon of this guy? And bless his soul, he just agrees with everything I say. You know, so because he's not a bodybuilder from a bodybuilding world, but if I mention, you know, Jay Cutler or whatever, he'll go, yeah, fuck it, yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Whereas he's more down the wellness route, so he kind of balances me out a little bit. And yeah, like I basically originally said to Eamon, look, would you be up for doing some general fitness classes? Like, people can just turn up and have a go at kettlebells, spin, whatever. He said, yeah, fuck it. I said, I can't really pay you. I don't really have the money, but I'll look after you for the weekend, put you in a hotel and see how it goes. And he then rang me 2 days later. He said, and we hadn't spoken like for fucking years. And he said, have you got like a business plan for this? I said, yeah, of course I have. Yeah. So I banged it over to him. And he went, do you need an investor? I was like, oh, I don't know. And he went, I've had a look at it, mate. And he said, you probably need 20 times what you think you need. I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, it's a lot of money. I was like, oh, okay. So I just said, right, all right, then, well, what do you want for it? And he was like, I'll just have 10%. I said, no, I'm not having that. I'm not giving you 10% when you're giving me all that money. So at least let me give you a lot more than that. So we did. And over time, I've just given him more, because not that he's asked for it, by the way. I just don't think it's fair that, you know, I don't give him more. So, because it's not about the money for me. That'll come. If it works, that'll come. For me, he's been a great soundboard, and it's just grown into what it's grown into. And yeah, we slowly added these comps and we slowly added these brands. And suddenly then I'm like, oh, fuck, like this is looking cool.
Yeah.
And at the time, all these promises of these athletes, because again, I'd looked after so many stars. So I was like, do you reckon you could come over? How much would it be? And luckily now, COVID, as shit as it was, it kind of saved me, because if I'd actually had to have paid all these stars that we originally were going to bring, I'd have been knackered, because, you know, the fact that they couldn't fly in. But actually what I learned was you didn't need all these names, because what people came for was this community vibe, just talking to normal folk. And that was really cool. So where did I start? I needed brands. I needed some competitions. So if I did the basic math, and I've still got the original Excel, if I can do a bodybuilding show, that will yield me approximately 200 to 400 in the audience. If I do a powerlifting show, that'll yield me approximately 100, 150. If I do a strongman, if I do this, then you'll get X amount of people from the local area. And I kind of thought, right, well, that will nearly break me even. And then Corona comes, boom, just literally destroys us. And I was never giving up. And people said, oh, fuck it, put it off, just cancel it. No, never cancelling it. One, I don't want to cancel it, but two, I can't afford to cancel it. Let's just keep motoring on. So we moved it. I think we moved it 4 times. So that obviously impacted ticket sales as well. you know, the whole nonsense that it's been.
It just pulls back momentum, doesn't it? When you advertise something for the first time, it drives momentum and some excitement, and then you have to set it back another day, set it back another day, set it back another day, and it's like, are you joking?
Yeah.
Even with its success anyway, so it doesn't matter. But well, that's that's what usually happens, isn't it? It's like, oh, we're going to change it. It's like, and that will affect ticket sales, won't it?
Yeah, I was so scared, you know, of it looking empty. That was my number one fear, was it looking empty. Number two was not getting anywhere near the money we needed to break even. So we lost a hell of a lot of money, like a scary, eye-watering amount of money. But we were confident enough to roll through into year two and do it again. And already I know I've sold more space. We've took on another hall, so we're now 3 halls. We've contemplated turning it into a 3-day event. So at the minute it's advertised as 3 days. That's because it starts on the Friday night again, but we are toying with adding some other stuff in on the Friday night as well, if the demand is there. We've got so much other stuff to add to it this year. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, mate, I had a dream, and I'm nothing. I'm a normal dude. But one thing I said this to Eamon every day, one thing I don't ever want to do is look back and think I didn't work hard enough. Yeah. So I literally pushed my balls. Like, there was 3 months or so leading up to it. I didn't go to bed before 2, 3 a.m. any night. You know, it drove a massive wedge in my family, like a huge wedge. Even though I'm trying to build something for us as a future, it crippled us, like, because people don't see those nights when you're literally grafting away. Because it was just, you know, I'm not taking anything away from anyone else. I've got an amazing team around me that helped me with ideas, that have provided money and stuff. But ultimately, it's me on the Instagram accounts. It's me doing a lot of the design work. It's me doing the emails. It's me downloading the music the night before for the bodybuilder that doesn't bloody read the email to send the music in 3 weeks ago. So there I was on the night. I was there on the morning of Saturday at the Expo, downloading bloody music for people.
Are you kidding?
Putting the music, you know, bless their soul. They'll email you and they'll say, can you cut it in at 14 seconds, please? And then cut. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. Now, looking at it, most people would do that, and it's silly, but fuck it, it's someone who's paid money to compete with me, and I don't care at this point. Yeah. So all that stuff that goes on in the background, people don't see that, and that's why I was just an emotional wreck at the Expo, because the overarching feeling was, you've done all right here. There's a nice crowd here. It's not embarrassingly small. I know year two will get more people. I just know, because, you know, base it on any of the models that work, it will increase, just basic, even just word of mouth alone. But yeah, we'll kind of go into this year and we'll keep it authentic, but we'll make it even better, you know?
Yeah, love it, man. Love it. It's just, and I just want to touch on what you mentioned. I'm just, this is what I say to others, because people look up, I don't know why, and you'll think exactly the same thing. People look up to you. I look up to you. I look at that and I go, no, I do. I look at that and I go, what an achievement. And this is what I've said so many times to other people, because I'll get people message me, oh, how have you done this, Matt? Or I like how you're doing this. And I'm not a magician. I'm not a Marvel character. I ain't got a superpower. I just put in the work. And sometimes that aspect is so far-fetched to people. It's like, you've got to sit down with a piece of paper till 2:30 a.m. and you've got to write up a business plan. Yeah, you do. and another thing is balance as well. And you can get into this conversation for hours and hours. And people, there's two trains of thoughts, two teams. You can create balance when you're trying to build something. I believe you almost have to have this relentless, unbalanced attitude, which, you know, can cause a wedge in relationships with family, whatever it might be, for a short stint of time to create something. I don't believe, and you could disagree with me, I don't believe your event would have been as successful, or you wouldn't be where you are today if you didn't sacrifice those couple of hours you could have been watching Disney with the kids, or going out for a little bike ride with your kids. Instead, you were sat there poring over your books and reading things and contacting people.
Yeah, 100%. 100% without doubt. And anyone, do you know what's cool this year, Matt, is that I don't have a wide circle of people anyway. I've always kind of just, you know, been a family man and all that kind of stuff. And I go to the gym, and then other than that, I'm not like I don't go out with the boys on a Saturday night type stuff. That's all gone years ago. But the people I surround myself with now, just through this, you know, Rick from Strom, you know, Lee from Sup Needs, you know, Mark from Cardiff Sports, Liam from HR Labs, Uchi from Explosive 8, all these people are all entrepreneurs who set up their own businesses and went for it.
Yeah.
And they all bust their balls. And you see Liam, HR Labs, lovely guy, Liam, lovely products too. Liam and me talk. And when we talk, we generally talk about 2 a.m. in the morning. He'll voice note me, I'll voice note him.
Yeah.
And without doubt, I know tonight, if I message him quickly, voice note at 2 a.m., he'll answer within seconds.
Yeah.
Because he's like me. Because in the day, the phone is going boom, 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 boom. You know, you got emails, you got questions, you got phone calls. You know, I'm up and down. I like work now. I've gone from, I had a full-time job through FitXpo. I still kind of have. I'm just on limited hours now because of COVID. But I worked a full-time job as well. And it was only that I kind of weirdly got a bit of furlough before the event, which couldn't have happened at a better time. Otherwise, I would have been knackered. But yeah, Liam, same as me, is like, he doesn't stop. He doesn't stop. Rick from Strong, he doesn't stop. Rick said to me a while ago, he hadn't been on holiday for something like 7 years.
Yeah. I can see that happening to me as well very soon.
Yeah, but you know what? But he'll be in a position, I'm sure in a year or two where he'll probably just knock it on the head at far younger age than most people because he's worked his balls off. And that doesn't mean, by the way, that anyone out there, like my dad was a builder, he worked 7 days a week. My mom, like proper working class family, they've worked very, very hard. Doesn't mean that normal jobs are not, as important, because they are. But sometimes I just got to a point, mate, where I was doing it for other federations and I was doing it for other people, and it was a bit thankless. And I thought, you know what? At least now I'm doing it for me. And I know that I'm thinking of it from a competitive point. If I'm an athlete, whether I'm a strongman, a bodybuilder, whatever I am, what would I like? And I know when I competed, I've still got my goodie bag from my first show. I've still got it. I kept it. I'm one of these people who still keeps the wristband. I still keep the badge. Yeah. I've still got the shorts, the trunks. I've still got all that stuff. And as you said, I can see it there. Yeah. But that's important because that stuff is memories. And I, therefore, as an athlete, was like, well, actually, my athletes, and that's why, Matt, every show we've done, you get a goodie bag and you get a fucking good goodie bag. Everyone gets a t-shirt. When you join us now as a member, you don't just get a little card. You're going to get more things. And we're going to put on these community days, and we're going to continue to do these days because that's important. We're always doing after party at the finals because it's important and it's different and it gives back. And then ultimately we'll get to a point, please God, when there's a membership going into the pot that we'll be able to then do other cool prizes too. But we'll just, like Strom do, never settle. Like never settle. Just keep going, keep pushing. And don't forget where you came from. I'm a pretty grounded dude. But for now, we keep pushing. We keep it, authentic. We keep it for the fans. It's all about the fans for me and that experience. What I learned from the Arnolds is it took me over an hour to get in.
They were honestly, they were terrible at organising how to get in.
Well, yeah. Again, I'm not going to knock them. They did so well, and I'm sure they're all doing very, very well monetary wise. But for me, you've got to treat people in a certain way. And I will always endeavor to do that and make sure that people feel warm and welcome and loved. And I think if we continue to do that, we'll be in a better place. Do I ever think we're going to be the size of Body Power? I don't know. I don't know if we can, because I'm never going to pay Vicky from Geordie Shore or someone for X on the Beach to pop along and see everyone. The venue actually said to me, and this will be a bit controversial here, but the venue said to me, because bless their souls, they don't know about our world, it's quite niche, especially in the bodybuilding world. And they were like, oh, why don't you get Joe Wicks? Like, get Joe Wicks, you announce Joe Wicks and you'll fill a place. Now look, Joe Wicks, if you're listening, you're a lovely man. He is a lovely man. My mum knows who Joe Wicks is. My boy knows who Joe Wicks is. But no one's going to use Joe Wicks to get them ready to compete in the, Two Bros finals. No one's going to use Joe Wicks to get them ready to squat, 300 kilos. It's not going to happen. So it just massively reduces our credibility. Yes, we could probably sell 10,000 tickets if we announced Joe Wicks, but we're not going to do it. No. So that's where we remain credible. Any of the people we announced last year are all athletes in their own right. And so, and that's what we'll continue to do. So therefore, we'll never hit the numbers of those, but we'll certainly grow. I anticipate this year being much bigger than last year, and then the following year being even bigger again. But I'll keep it authentic, basically.
Yeah, by adhering to your anchored sort of thought patterns in terms of your wants is going to up your credibility and get you're going to increase in popularity by just holding your, what would be the best word for me to use? Just what you stand for, basically.
Yeah, values. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I've got to ask, okay, before the light goes in your living room or wherever you are in the conservatory.
I know. Honest to God, I normally do quite a lot of Zooms, and normally the picture is like yours. What the hell is going on today?
I've no. Like I said, your kids are downloading Pokemon, mate.
No, it's really embarrassing because I should have done it on my phone. But like, it's normally bang on. I don't know whether it's because the laptop's been in here all day and it's freezing and it's kind of iced over or something. I don't know what the hell's happened, but I certainly need a new laptop.
You've got two things behind you, and I have to ask. Okay, you got the Hulk as one, and you've got the FitX logo. We'll go the FitX first. What's the X for? Please say it's from X-Men.
No, it's not. So the X. So we're going to kind of have this illustration at the Expo thing, but basically a lot of people ask me this. So the X originally, I was like, I think I need to think of a name. What do I do? First of all, I don't want the colors to look like Body Power. So I wanted something different. An X is, it fits everywhere. So, if you imagine, X marks the spot, like, sign here on the line, dotted line, there's always like, sign the X there. Yeah. It fits everywhere. It fits wherever, whether you're a strongman, bodybuilder, whatever, it fits everywhere. It's a support mechanism in a bridge. It acts as like a truss in a bridge. So I like where we're going here. These are good. But ultimately, as a bodybuilder, it's the X-frame.
X-frame. That's what I thought when you were going through them. I was like, X-frame.
Yeah. So that's effectively what the X is, and that's why the X is what it is. So yeah, we've got FitXpo. FitX is the federation. The FitCast started, which was a podcast which never aired, but I did start my own. Yeah, I've recorded the first one. We will get around to doing more, and that's going to be the FitCast.
Are you going to invite Matt Smart Fitness on?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
And then wait for it, FitXscapes.
Oh, cool.
Will be, is the plan for like these retreats. But rather than doing the retreats with all the yoga and the wellness and the Zen and that, which is cool, and we'll probably do that, I quite like the idea of you're a strongman, you're a bodybuilder, you've got a couple of nights free. So we're going to take you away. You're going to eat big. You're going to train big.
That sounds wicked. My mate Xander, he'll be listening to this. He would buy the ticket. You go on sale. 22 seconds later, he's got a ticket. Easy.
I think it'd be cool where, like, the likes of Josh Maley putting you through a session, Sass, sitting down and listening to, hypertrophy seminars, listening to Dean St. Mark, people like that, just listening to people and getting the best out of your weekend and maximizing your muscle. So things like something like that. I
was hoping when you said the X, what was it? Escapes. FitXscapes. I was hoping you were going to go, so it's not going to be yoga or meditation. It's going to be basically total wipeout. I was like, yes. How sick would that be?
That would be cool. That would be
very good.
We have looked at stuff like that for the Expo, but yeah, hopefully.
Okay, so that's where the X comes from then.
Yeah.
I like that. What about, I'm going to ask you a nerdy question because that is the title of these podcasts, okay?
Nothing wrong with that, yeah.
Give us, what's like the most nerdy? Are you a geek? Are you a nerd, like gaming or superheroes?
I went to, for the fourth time, I went to Comic-Con last weekend, which is one of my favorite weekends. I fucking love Comic-Con. I didn't dress up. I say every time to my little boy, I'm going to dress up. I didn't. He went as one of the Squid Games guys. Let's get this clear. Let's get.
Oh, I think you're gone. Come back. We're getting there then.
He made me watch today the Mr. Beast. I don't know if you watch Mr. Beast on YouTube.
Oh yeah, Mr. Beast. He's done like a Squid Game thing, isn't he?
Yeah, 24 million views already, and he only aired it last night. So yeah, he's replicated Squid Games basically, and gave away $490,000. So yeah, I went to Comic-Con last week. I do love Comic-Con. I wanted to buy a He-Man Master of the Universe figure, and then when I went back, it sold out.
Oh no!
So I do like a bit of stuff like that. Yes. But yeah, other than that, gaming, I play Fortnite with the little boy a little bit. I play a little bit of Call of Duty, but other than that, not massively. But yeah,
did you ever? So the old sort of He-Man sort of stuff. What about the Lou Ferrigno Hulk?
Yeah, I love all that.
That's like your era.
I wanted to when I went to Comic-Con last year, well, before COVID, what I wanted to buy and I've never seen it since, is the original Baywatch. You know, the boy, like the orange boy that Mitch Buchanan used to have.
Yeah.
And it had it in all like the original 80s packaging. That was cool. I wanted that. I've got my eyes on a couple of like, you know, Hulk figures and stuff that I like the look of. And I think effectively most people that got into bodybuilding kind of saw that kind of caricature and thought, fuck, I want to be that guy. And I suppose most people, I mean, you know, to go quite deep on it, we've all got our own demons and our own issues. But me personally, I suppose I wanted to make myself look bigger and better because you can't deal with what's going on inside at times.
Yeah.
And like with FitXpo, it's imposter syndrome for me. It's like, how the fuck have I done this? I'm just me. Like, I'm just this normal dude. And somehow I've helped put this thing together. Again, though, with some amazing people around me who I couldn't have done it without. So anyone of them that are listening, like, you know, from the people that hand out the trophies to the guys working backstage to people driving the vans, like all the bits and pieces, the brands that are supporting me. But I do think sometimes, what the hell am I doing here? Like, how did this happen? How did this happen? Yeah. So that's important. Yeah. But yeah, I'm a bit of a geek. Yeah. A bit of a geek.
So if any superhero, what would you be and why? Superpower?
I think everyone's got there's two things. I like the idea of invisibility, but then I also like the idea of just massive strength. I quite like, but then I think Tony Stark's really cool.
Oh, he's so good, isn't he? He's so cool.
He's a good looking dude. He's normal, but then he puts that on and boom. So
the problem with the strength ones is you end up turning into something silly looking. So the Hulk, you end up turning massive and green. You got the Thing from X-Men. Fantastic Four. So he's just like a big old hefty rock. So you got to worry about what you're looking like as well. With Tony Stark, when you jump out your suit and you'll be all right.
That's it. And I imagine the transition from being normal to turning into the Hulk is bloody painful. That whether it's 5 seconds or 5 minutes it takes, it doesn't look comfortable.
What about the transition into a werewolf? I sometimes think that as well. I think, good God.
I was just going to say the same. American Werewolf in London. I watched that again the other day, an old classic. And yeah, it just looks horrendous. The pain he goes through to get into that shape. Whereas Tony, put the suit on and off you go, you know?
Exactly. Dude, I've kept you on far too long. It's been an absolute pleasure, but I have got one more thing. If you could like emit like a good quote or like a message, or if you want to like advertise the FitX a little bit, I know you've got a post coming out tomorrow to advertise a little bit of when the actual event is happening, right?
Yeah, so we go on sale tomorrow, Black Friday. So it wasn't meant to be Black Friday; it just coincided that I wanted to go on sale before the Arnolds.
Yeah.
But we put it out on the 26th. It just happens to be Black Friday, so we've got early bird offers tomorrow. I just think, if you are a fan, what bothered me last year was that, because you're always I'm so precious about it because it's my baby, isn't it? And then there was Scousers coming up to me a month after saying, "Oh, I didn't know this was on." I'm like, "You're bloody go to Liverpool. You're in a Liverpool gym every night of the week, and you didn't know this was on."
Yeah.
You know, my mom knows about Body Power. She struggles to remember my name. You know, and I'm like, and the Arnold. As soon as the Arnold was announced, I saw people, the people you would never imagine being a fitness expert that I've used to work with. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And it was like, "Oh, I've come to see Arnold." And he's not here, buddy. With FitXpo, I just want people to come. So if you're into bodybuilding, strongman, if you just want to lose a few pounds, because you want to play with the kids at the weekend and you don't want to be out of breath, if you want to learn from some of the best, and they really are some of the best people, you know, if you want to have a go, if you want to get some bargains, you know, if you want to meet some cool brands, if you want to get on stage, if you want to compete, just come along.
Yeah.
And it's going to be such a cool weekend. We're not expensive. You know, in the grand scheme of things, we're really not, but you get a lot of value for your money. And ultimately, as sad as it sounds, if people don't come, we won't continue. We just won't. So we need that support. And we are a small community in terms of, you know, the bodybuilding world. It's a niche sport. You know, you go in Asda tonight, you might see one bodybuilder. You'll see a hell of a lot of Karens who do Pilates and yoga and bits and pieces, but you don't see many bodybuilders.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, we are going to tap more into mainstream this time. We've got the British Army coming. We've got loads of MMA masterclasses, yoga, you know, ice therapy. We've got so much stuff going on. It's not just for people who carry carpets under their arms. It genuinely isn't.
Yeah. And this is something what the podcast really originated from, is bringing listeners on that felt a little bit outcasty. They don't really fit in. Expos like this, like yours as an example, is such a great opportunity to know as soon as you walk through that front door, you are surrounded by everyone that wants to improve. And no doubt.
Many people came on their own. Yeah. And they met people who they'd met at a gym tour or they saw him on Instagram, as you said earlier. And that for me is massively important.
Yeah, definitely. Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. I have learned a lot. Thank you, mate. Just taking your time just to jump on is wicked. Honestly, it's really good.
And like I said, I really apologise for the picture because it's horrendous.
But one thing before I go, you will, because I'm planning to, see me in my tiny little pants on the FitX stage next year.
Do you know, I listened to you on last night and I was like, I wonder, because you said you'd had 3 shows.
That's it. That's it.
And I was like, yes, come on, lad.
And the one that I think you mentioned that you're gonna have one on a Saturday one. I said, no doubt I will be doing like a little, if there's like a little coupling, I might as well, mightn't I? Like you said, you're in shape, do it.
Yeah, like it's up to you, mate. We've got 11 shows next year, 11 or 12 shows. We've gone bigger and better. I always say to people, the benefits of competing in an expo are that you've got shitloads of snacks. You're in shape for photos. That's all great. The downside is you can't eat those snacks and stuff if you compete. So it's one of them. I've competed around an expo before and it was bloody horrible. But then I've met people who've competed at expos and it was amazing. So you either do that one or do one of the others. It just depends on how much you want to enjoy that weekend, because just bear that in mind. Walking around all day, and your coach is going to tell you off walking around, you know. I've got so many other.
Get your legs up, get your legs up, lie down, get your legs up.
I know.
I'll just get someone to wheel me around, mate. I'll just keep my legs up, sit in a trolley and just scoot around the expo. It'd be okay, wouldn't it? Hey, definitely. One quick question, right? It could be that I'm just totally thick, which is in most cases. What the F does Expo, what's it short for? Or is that the word, Expo?
Well, it's like, an Expo is just a generic term for kind of an exhibition, isn't it? So
exhibition. Because I always go Expo and I'm thinking expedition. I'm thinking, what?
It's like Body Power Expo. It was always like an Expo is it's just an exhibition. It's just another terminology for that. But yeah, that's it really.
I'm gonna let you go. Have a lovely evening, my man.
Thank you so much.
Everybody, thank you very much for listening to another episode of When Nerds Do Fitness with me and Darren, the founder of FitX, and you will listen and see us in the next episode. Thank you very much. Ta-ra.
Thank you, guys.